Hi friends, I'm Scot Giles and welcome to Power Talk, my podcast here on Facebook Live and YouTube. I cover topics related to hypno-coaching, spirituality, and the hypnotic arts and sciences in general. If you'd like to know more about my professional work, check out my website, which I'll tag at the end of this video. Today I want to talk about meditation practice and about some options that might work for you if you've tried meditation but have not found a way to make it compatible with your lifestyle. First, understand there are many different ways to have a meditation practice. When I was in college in the 70s, the trendy form was something called transcendental meditation, which is still very much around. Check it out at tm.org. I explored it. I liked it, although I would ultimately move to a less structured form of meditation. Transcendental meditation is what is called a mantra system, and it belongs to the meditation systems that use some device to focus attention. Some of these systems might use a candle or other external focus object. Some count off beads, and some use a mantra. A mantra is a phrase given to you at your initiation or something you just select that you repeat silently to yourself in order to focus your mind as you sit quietly. If your thoughts drift off, and they will, and you find yourself thinking about something, you simply use your mantra to return your mind to focus. Kind of rinse and repeat until your time of meditation is over. Dr. Herbert Benson, who died recently, a cardiologist at the Mind Body Medical Institute at Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston, wrote a book in 1975 called The Relaxation Response about the benefits of regular meditation. He had studied transcendental meditation, but instead of recommending it specifically, he just suggested that one choose a simple mantra that you could just make up. A later book called Beyond the Relaxation Response, published in 1984, expanded that recommendation to urge you to select a mantra that had some connection to your personal belief system. I used this style of meditation myself throughout my college and grad school years. I would, however, eventually become interested in a different class of meditation techniques called mindfulness. Now, I studied this under a Buddhist spiritual director, and in that tradition, this form of meditation is called Vipassana. I also studied the Western form under a different spiritual director who was a Catholic priest, where it's often called centering prayer. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, there was a professor of medicine at the University of Massachusetts Medical School who created a program called Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction, which he published in 1991 in a book entitled Full Catastrophe Living. His name is Jon Kabat-Zinn. While not considering himself a Buddhist, Dr. Kabat-Zinn documented reams of objective medical evidence that a regular meditation practice of mindfulness could help with a host of medical and emotional problems. As the evidence for his secular version of this technique gained currency, I also studied it and found that it was more effective than what I'd been doing. The method's now widely practiced in medical and psychological circles. Now, mindfulness simply means being still, quieting one's inner voice, and simply noticing without praise or blame what's happening in the present moment. If you feel pain, and instead of Focusing on the pain, you just notice that your body is feeling pain, but that the pain isn't all of your experience, just part of it. It's a very sophisticated, gentle way of being still. In addition to Dr. Kabat-Zinn's work, I also recommend the work of the late Thich Nhat Hanh, who's written extensively on the practice of mindfulness, especially his book, The Miracle of Mindfulness. Now, if you want to do what I do and adopt a regular practice of mindfulness, more power to you. I do it every day, once or twice a day. I sit still. I used to use a cross-legged posture, the half lotus, when I was a younger person, but my body won't let me do that anymore, so I simply use my desk chair. But I sit, eyes closed, focused on my breathing initially, and then just pay attention to what's happening in the present moment. As I've worked with clients and colleagues over the years, though, I've actually come to believe that what's really important is the whole concept of stillness. Mindfulness is just one way of learning how to be still, and that's true of the other systems of meditation as well. There is simply too damn much noise around us, too much distraction. Got the 24-hour news cycle, the flow of conversation from other people, the demands of our work, and so on. All of these things distract us and keep us occupied with things that, as the Stoic philosophers would say, are really inconsequential. Now, they would say that they're inconsequential, not that they're totally unimportant, but that for the most part, we can't do much, if anything, about them. And so they simply distract us. If we can control or influence them, great, but often we can't. And often they persist, claiming our attention for far too long. There's an old Taoist image of the mind like a glass jar full of muddy water. If it can just be held still long enough, then things settle and the water will become clear. Our minds are like that. We need stillness so that we can determine what's really important versus what is merely distracting. So the key idea is not so much to have a specific meditation practice, although I think that's great, but it's to have a way to foster stillness in your mind. Now, many people find they can achieve that stillness by playing golf. As a target marksman myself, I know a number of competitive target shooters who say that stilling the mind so that the bullet flies accurately to the target is the kind of stillness that provides them with that clarity in the rest of their life. A number of archers tell me much the same thing as they hold the bow absolutely still so the arrow is right on target. It's a very Zen sort of thing. One client found that simply being quiet while doing housework worked well for him. The trick was to use the time to keep the mind still, not to carry on an inner dialogue about what he was doing. It was the quiet while he was doing the routine, mindless sorts of things that paid him the benefit. And it can for you too. Try seeking stillness in some way. You'll be glad you did. At first it will be difficult as you've gotten used to your thoughts and attention jumping around in your head, but the more you try it, the easier it becomes. Here's a quote from the great essayist and minister Ralph Waldo Emerson. "That which we persist in doing becomes easier to do. Not that the nature of the thing has changed, but that our power to do it has increased." Stillness gets easier with practice, And you will harvest the mental, medical, and emotional benefits that Doctors Kabat-Zinn and Herbert Benson have documented, along with the benefits testified to by the rich tradition from the worldwide spiritual community. Give it a try. Hey, thank you for your time and attention today. I'll be back next week with another talk on a different subject. I'd like to invite you to join me. It helps me if you let others know about my work, so please like, share, and subscribe. And of course, if I can be of help to you as a hypnotist or a life coach, feel free to reach out through email, my Patreon channel, my website, and so on. Stay well and stay safe.